Hey, it's the Chief bonding with board games, and who is this? This is Mac. All right, Mac's a Wichita local and a phenomenal game teacher. Just to give you an idea, I will have cops and their families come over, and a lot of times these guys and gals, they're not into the gaming culture necessarily, but they've asked me, and I've gotten them, told them, hey, go get Ticket to Ride. Spend time with your family around the table, and then they'll say, hey, we love this, we want more. I will host cop evenings or afternoons here, and I tapped Mac right away. Great game teacher. Are you allowed to talk of the demos you do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
why don't you tell them a little bit about...
Absolutely. I work for a company called Envoy. And basically, we represent a whole bunch of different board game companies, and we do demos for them. Each one I do have to get the register. I have to do like just a short thing just to show that I can demo the game for them. So it's pretty cool. It's all on the up and up. Have a great time doing it. So.
Sure. So how many demos will you, if you get a game, do you have to demo it like 8 times?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. The way we work is we have to go in 3-hour increments, and we have a certain number of times that we have to do it. Lately, we've been doing the newer games that come out. That we have to do like a 5-hour increment of doing those. Like for instance, we'll be doing there's one coming up called America, and I have to do that for 5 hours at a time, which I don't mind because like I said, most of these games are just a lot of fun. So
He's a real high energy teacher. Do they ever? Do you get to go to cons and help out, or is it they only want you doing local?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Sweet.
In fact, I'll be going to Tacticon in Colorado Springs coming up this week. So
Lovely area. I hiked Pikes Peak once a long time ago when I was in better shape. Now we're looking at Mystic Vale.
Absolutely.
You brought this over.
Yep.
I have been hearing a lot about it. I had not played it. I love Ascension, Star Realms. I like the deck builder stuff. And AEG put this out, but they call it a card crafting system. What does that mean?
Card crafting basically means that what you're doing as you're playing the game, you're creating your own cards. You will always have the same deck of 20 cards, but you are basically enhancing those as the game goes on. So each game that you play can, and in fact, will be different that way because you'll always be creating new combos as you're playing. So
they do this real cool deal where it's like transparencies. Yeah. These plastic transparencies with art on it, card effects, and all these basic cards you start with are sleeved, and you will buy these, and they slide into this sleeved card, and they transfigure it into all kinds of options. So John Clare, phenomenal, great idea. Just the concept of it. And you said this idea kind of builds off of another game.
Yeah, there's actually a game called Rattlebones, and it's a dice building game where you roll and you move to certain locations, and then wherever that location is, you get to add that location to the die. And so I think it's kind of a neat gimmick, and this is another gimmick like that, which plays really well. So.
Mac did a walkthrough on it. We're going to cut to that now. He'll show you just a little brief overview, and then we'll come back and kind of give our final thoughts, although I may have tipped my hand a little bit already. This is neat, but enough said. Go take a look.
All right. Well, this, of course, is Mystic Vale. And what you've got here is you've got the basic setup for the game. You've got your fertile soil cards over here, which anybody at any point can buy them. You can either buy them from the top, the middle, or the bottom. Then you've got all of your level 1 advancement cards. You've got your level 2 advancement cards right here, and your level 3. They go up in price. The price, of course, is up here in the top corner on every one of the cards, and that is how much mana that you spend to buy them. Each one has their own individual powers and things that they come into play too. For instance, this one here, other advancements added to whatever card that you add it to is going to cost you 2 less mana. You've also got your cards here that have these symbols, and what you do with those symbols is that's when the veil part of this game comes in. You can buy the veils, which we have here, the level 1 veils, and then we have the level 2 veils right here. And then you will have to have played this card here, which will give you the leaf as well as the bear claw symbol. And then, of course, you can buy, for instance, right there, you could buy that card there, which would give you on your turn. You would get an extra mana that you could spend as well. This here, of course, each game comes with a cheat sheet walking you through the game. Basically walks you through the phases of each turn. First one being the planting phase, where you get your fields ready in order to buy from the supply. Next phase is the harvest phase, where you actually spend the mana that you already have accumulated. And then, of course, the last phase will be the discard phase. Then you go into the final phase, which is called the prep phase. And during the prep phase is when you get your next field ready for your next turn. Then when you come back around again to the planting phase, if you want to, that's when you can try to press your luck and see whether or not you can actually get more mana. On the back of this card, it actually has a listing of all of the symbols that you play in the game, as well as telling you what each one does as far as the decay. Bad thing. Basically, if you get too much decay, you'll spoil. The grow symbol here, which is the tree, cancels out 1 decay. Mana is what you use as currency in the game. Victory points here is actually you will gain when you play the card itself. That's always in the left corner of the card. You'll have the straight up victory points. The victory points gray you will receive at the end of the game. Then it has the spirit symbols down here, and as well as the guardian symbols, which is the helmet. And of course, the more helmets that you add onto a card gives you more opportunities to get more powerful cards. So, all right, so here we've got an example of a card that has been pre-selected. You can tell which tier you buy it from. You can see here by the pips, this is a level 2. That is also a level 2 and a level 3 as well, but this is a really strong card to start with. This one here, what this would do is for every helmet that you have on this card, it gives you this tree symbol right here. And what the tree symbol will do is it will cancel out a decay symbol, the red symbol, which is right here, which stands for decay. So if you were to have this card here, this would actually cancel out, because of this helmet and this helmet as well, it would cancel out 2 decay, which was really, really good to have. So we'll slide that in there behind. There we go. So that's slid in just like that. This symbol here is the Feral Chieftain. For the Feral Chieftain, for every helmet symbol that you have on this card, you will receive a victory point. And of course, the game ends once you hit a certain number of victory points. So having this in there is actually a good idea as well. So we'll slide that in there just like that. And then this last one is just a great symbol, because a great card to have, because not only does it give you a mana, it has one of every kind of symbol that you will need in order to get really close to be able to get this card here, which has 2 bear symbols, three bear symbols, a sun, and the green leaf itself. This card here at the end of the game would give you 6, plus it just looks really pretty. So then we'll slide that one in as well. And once you have done that, you have yourself one very nice, very thick card for when you're playing Mystic Vale. Alright, we're just going to show you some of the artwork on some of these Vale cards, because it is absolutely beautiful. It should be hanging in a gallery somewhere. There's the Feral Grove, just a nice peaceful scene. Then you got your shimmering brook, your pool of light here. Let's see. The ancient life root, beautiful, beautiful artwork there. The Verdant Valley, we've talked about that one. Stream of Vigor. I mean, the color ranges on these cards are just amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. So Grove Forest, Savannah, of course. You know, you got your Lion King going on right there. So then we'll straight over to the other ones, and we got your Cascading Falls, which is just a absolutely beautiful artwork. And you got these guys. These guys are coming to get you through the thorns here. Got your World Tree, and just like I said, as you're playing the game, it just keeps getting more and more beautiful. So there you go. To get the mana itself, what you do is you play the cards during the planting phase. You plant a field, and you'll do it blackjack style. You'll basically draw cards until you get 3 of these decay symbols. Once you get 3 of the decay symbols, then your turn immediately stops. And like for instance there, my turn stops. This one here goes on deck, which is on top of the deck itself. Then you've got all the mana that you have here. So you got 1, 2, 3 right there. The 2 decay, just ignore that for right now. But then you use the 3 mana to buy whatever card that you'd like. So for instance here, I could buy this, well, I'd probably go ahead and buy a Fertile Soil for this one here. You grab the Fertile Soil, and then you slide it into the card, just like this. And now you have a card that gives you 2 mana instead of just giving you 1 on your turn. You'll then discard each one of these cards, during the discard phase. Then, as the next player gets their field ready, you'll go ahead and get your next field ready by doing the exact same thing. And well, there's 3 right there. That wasn't a great one. Now, on subsequent turns, what you will do is you can press your luck if you want to. You've already got the 2 decay right here, but if you press your luck, then you'll put it out here in the field, draw your next card. If there was a decay on that one, then you have spoiled, at which point you get nothing. You don't get to buy anything on that turn. But then you do get a flip over this here, which will give you a mana later on on one of your next turns. These cards would go away at that point. However, I didn't do that, so I got the 3. So once again, I could buy anything that I want for 3. Object of the game is you have a certain number of victory points. Once you run out of those victory points, we finish the round. We go to the last player. So for instance, if the first player had finished the round, had finished the last points, the other players would get 1 more turn. And then after that is over, you add up however many victory points you have. You add up your victory points from your Vale cards, and you also add up your victory points from your advancement cards. And whoever has the most points wins the game.
All right, so you've just seen Mac's wonderful walkthrough. Let me tell you real quick, as you add in these little transparencies and the way you add them in and the way they fit, the card and the sleeve, it gets thicker and it just feels, it's got a real, you wouldn't think it'd give you that good of a tactile feel.
Yeah, it feels good.
But it really doesn't. It's a heavy card and you draw it and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, because you know that sucker's a powerful card that you've made. So.
Well, and this whole decay thing is so cool because I'm so used to deck builders where you're usually trying to thin that deck down, or you've got a powerful deck and maybe you don't care if it's quite as thin down, or you're able to use cards to get around a thick deck. This is different.
Yep,
this is really different. I'll let you explain some of that.
It is different because it's always the same exact 20 cards that you're playing. The only thing that changes is what you buy for each one of your cards. So what you're doing is you're actually buying cards to decrease the amount of decay that you get. And so at the very beginning of the game, I mean, you might be drawing 2-3 cards if you're lucky. But by the end of the game, you're almost cycling through that whole deck in one turn and just having incredibly powerful turns by the end of the game. The game, it ends relatively quick, too, as far as, because you'll be able to get those victory points, not at the beginning of the game, but right around the middle of the game, you'll just start getting victory points like left and right. So.
Yeah, and you could even scale it. I mean, if you were teaching and you wanted somebody to get the feel of it real quick, you could shorten your victory points down and have them at a quicker game, kind of showing them the early and mid-level strategy.
Yeah, and it scales too in that the level 1 enhancements, you take out a certain number of them. And so one of the cool things about that is that there's cards in there. I've played this game 4 times. And there's cards in there that when we played today, I had never seen before. So that's really neat.
And then one of the very cool artwork cards, again, off to the side.
Those are Mystic Vales.
The Mystic Vale cards. The art's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I know you showed a little bit of that.
So good.
But that extra flavor you get as you're collecting these cards, and this has got the bear symbol, and that may help me because there's a great card in there that's going to give me the ability to get an extra mana every turn. Or I got the Tree of Life. What was it? I'm going to miss the name of it. But it's this tree that automatically gets rid of one of these decays.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm able to just ignore. Hey, just ignore. And, I've been hearing a lot about this. And so when you pull that, I'm like, yeah, I definitely need to see what the buzz is. I'm buying this. Okay, you bought this. I'm buying this. My son's going to love this. I'm immediately telling you, which is typical me, I can see expansions for this.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Absolutely.
Just because you're sliding them in. I mean, this is going to be a huge hit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you. This. Yeah. I didn't think it was going to have that great tactile feel to it because of what it is.
Yeah.
But the way you're thickening up these sleeved cards or canceling some kind of a bad card with a little tree symbol on it. Oh, God. Any final thoughts on this? I mean, I'm exuberant.
Oh, it's a great game. It's an absolutely great game. I am glad that I've got it in my collection.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm going to go. This is going on to cool stuff. I'm just telling you.
I'm the game enabler here.
Yeah, I know. You are. Well, like look at the background. Like, I need any enabling. You could basically say, this one smells good. I'm like, gotta have it. It's Mystic Vale and it has a good smell. Yeah. Scratch and sniff sticker on the front. That's a keeper.
Well, it's just like plastic.
Yeah, I'd have to have 2 of them. One, that way the scratch and sniff never gets stick. Now, on that point, though, that may be one negative for you. I haven't bought mine yet, but kind of like your VCR remote control has that protective little sheen on the front sensor to protect it.
Right.
You'd already taken these off. Explain that.
Yeah, when the cards come, they actually have a protective plastic on them to protect the artwork when they were printing. And as you're playing the game, as you're getting the decks ready for the beginning of the game, you'll be shuffling those cards, and as you're shuffling, that plastic will come off. It took me about 2 hours, and I eventually got all the plastic off. You don't have to do that. If you want to, you could just automatically just do it as you're playing the game. I'm just a little ACD, I think, on that, so I had to 2 hours later, it was all off.
So as you're shuffling, sometimes it would hang up or something?
Yeah, sometimes it hangs up just a little bit, and then you just take it and just kind of peel it a little bit, and it eventually does come off.
Gotcha. So unlike the cool thing with my remote where I can like have it on for 2 years and then peel it, and it's like, woo, it's brand new.
This comes off pretty quick. So.
All right, cool. Well, that's it. We're out. Check this out. Get a chance. Are you going to bring this with you when you go to Colorado?
Yeah.
Or you just doing
I'll
okay?
bring it, yeah.
So if you run into him down in Colorado Springs, maybe you'll pull it out.
I can sit down for a game or two.
Love it. Look him up there. All right, Chief Mac. Chief Mac bonding with board games.
Whoa.
Sorry, I may have to minimize that out. Wow, I did that earlier and I had to call somebody to apologize. Bonding with board games. See you guys later.